On the majestic peaks of the Himalayas, where harsh winds carve the landscape and snow blankets the world year-round, there was a sound old man Tùng never expected to hear. It wasn't the roar of the wind or the rumble of an avalanche, but a faint, lonely whimper, lost in the bone-chilling silence of the ice. For 30 years, living alone in his rustic wooden cabin, Tùng had become a devoted friend to his solitude. He had left the noisy world below to seek peace in the wild. Now that small cry had shattered every rule of the isolation he had built for himself. Tùng, with his long silver beard and eyes clouded by age, stepped out of his cabin, a flickering oil lamp in hand. The night swallowed everything, leaving only the dim light to illuminate the falling snowflakes. He followed the sound, tracing a familiar path to a narrow crevice between two rocks. The lamp's glow revealed a sight that made his heart ache. A tiny, trembling snow leopard cub trapped between the boulders. It was motherless and seemed abandoned. Its fur, the color of snow, was matted and wet. Its sapphire eyes were wide with fear, yet held an untamed wildness that could not be quenched. Tùng hesitated. He knew the laws of nature well. To interfere in the life of a wild animal was forbidden. It could disrupt the delicate balance of the entire ecosystem. But looking into those desperate eyes, Tùng could not turn away. Despite a lifetime of solitude, he had never lost the kindness in his heart. He gently set the lamp down and slowly approached the creature. The cub squinted, letting out a feeble snarl. Tùng did not rush. He spoke in a low, soothing voice, as warm as a flowing stream. "Don't be afraid, little one. I won't hurt you." It took a long time for Tùng to carefully free the cub from the rocks. It was too weak to resist, only able to bury itself in the warmth of his hands. Tùng carried it back to his cabin, wrapped it in an old wool blanket, and gave it some of his precious goat's milk. He stayed up all night, tending to the small creature. His every kind gesture and gentle words slowly calmed its fear. Finally, the cub fell asleep, curled up in the crook of the old man's arm. As Tùng watched, its small head resting against him, a strange warmth bloomed in his chest. He named her Snow, a name that meant dew in his language, a reminder of the cold morning dew where he found her and a symbol of her pure, fragile, yet wild beauty. In the days that followed, Snow slowly recovered. She learned to walk, to eat, and most importantly, to trust Tùng. Initially she was wary, but his boundless patience and goodness won her over. Snow was not a pet. She was a member of his family, a friend Tùng had found in this icy wilderness. Their relationship needed no words. They communicated with glances, with light touches, and with a silent, comforting presence. Tùng would often tell Snow stories of his youth, of the world below the mountains, and of the people he had once loved. Though Snow didn't understand the words, she would listen, her blue eyes fixed on him with deep attention. As Snow grew older, her wild instincts began to stir. Sometimes she would sit by the window, gazing out at the snow-covered peaks, her eyes distant, as if longing for a place she belonged. Tùng knew that one day Snow would have to leave, but he wasn't sad. He had given her a second chance at life, and that was all that mattered. Each afternoon, they would sit together by the fireplace, Tùng reading his book, and Snow lying beside him, warm and at peace. Their friendship was a secret known only to the mountains, the winds, and the stars in the sky. It was a bond born from solitude and compassion, a miracle that blossomed in the harshest of places. Time passed, and the small snow leopard cub had grown into a majestic, powerful creature. Snow's coat was still pristine white, but thicker and softer, speckled with dark rosettes like mysterious stars in the night sky. The sapphire eyes of her youth were now sharp and full of life, reflecting the cunning of a true apex predator. But no matter how large she grew, Swang always considered Tùng her friend and family. Their bond had become unbreakable. Every day, Tùng and Swang explored the more remote parts of the mountain together. Tùng was old, his steps no longer as quick as they once were, but he had Swang as his guide. She led him down secret paths only snow leopards knew, helping him avoid dangerous cliffs and treacherous snow patches. She had become Tung's eyes and ears, protecting him from every threat. One time, as Tùng was gathering herbs on a steep slope, he slipped and fell. Swang reacted in a flash, using her powerful body to brace his fall and prevent him from tumbling into a deep crevasse. Tùng lay there, cradled in the snow leopard's protective embrace, feeling the warmth of her breath and the unconditional friendship she had for him. They endured the most severe winters together. Once, an unexpected blizzard trapped them, cutting them off from all escape routes. With food and firewood running out, Tùng grew weak and ill. Swang, sensing the grave danger, left the cabin. Tùng was worried, but he trusted Swang. A few days later, she returned carrying a small mountain goat on her back. She had hunted not for herself, but to save Tùng. This act of self-sacrifice brought tears to Tung's eyes. He knew this friendship was not just about mutual support, but about deep, selfless devotion. Yet, despite their strong bond, Tùng couldn't deny an undeniable truth. Swang was still a wild creature. Sometimes when they sat together, he would see her gazing at the distant mountains, her eyes gleaming with a longing for freedom. It was the call of the wild, the cry of her primal nature. Tùng knew he could not keep Swang forever. She was not a pet. She was the spirit of the mountain, and a spirit could not be caged. One morning in early spring, as the ice began to melt, Swang was no longer beside Tùng. The old man woke to find only a set of snow leopard paw prints on the fresh snow, leading away towards the highest peak. Swang had returned to her own kind, to the world where she belonged. Tùng was not sad. He smiled. He knew Swang would live a full life, a life of freedom that he had helped her find. From that day on, Old Man Tùng was no longer alone. Even though Swang was gone, he still felt her presence. Sometimes he would catch a glimpse of a white shadow gliding across a distant ridge, as fast as the wind. It was Swang, still watching over him, still protecting him from afar. The story of Old Man Tùng and Swang the Snow Leopard became a legend of the Himalayas, a legend of a friendship without borders, of compassion, and of the harmony between man and nature. Though they were no longer together, they would forever be a part of each other, a beautiful tale of two lonely shadows who found each other in the cold.